I am really happy to be talking to you, Mallory, today. Could you please introduce yourself and what you do for business?
Absolutely. So my name is Mallory, and for right now, I am a business development consultant, which means I work with financial advisors, finding out how we can help them grow their practice through marketing and operation strategies.
Let's go with the first question. Like, you are not old enough. Like, usually people gather enough experience after they are 50 or 60 years old. However, you have a high position while still young. How did you come by this kind of knowledge and this kind of position?
Well, I did go to school. I actually went for political science, and I did have a minor in marketing, but I didn't pay much attention to it. And after college, I thought I was going to go to law school, but I didn't want to be drowning in student debt for the rest of my life. So I just started applying for jobs, thought I may try a receptionist role. And so I found a car dealership a couple of miles from my house and went to apply for the receptionist role. And they told me, absolutely not. You need to be in sales. So I started in the internet department, booking appointments for the dealership, eventually came to run the department, which then I got into all the digital marketing aspects. So I started working with vendors, started figuring out SEO, SEM, all that fun back end things. Did that at another dealership. So between 2.5 years, I ran two different departments, and I kind of got burnt out working in car dealerships. In America, it's a 7-day-a-week job. So I had a friend who was working at my current position, referred me over, and basically doing what I'm doing now, just speaking to financial advisors versus people trying to buy a car. And I've been here a 1.5 years, and now I'm vice president of business development. So just been sharpening my skills, but that's really the trajectory of how I got to this position right now.
That's so interesting. Let's go with the first business, or let's say specialistic question. How do you identify the top financial advisors?
So before I am able to get them on the call, how I identify them is really through their websites and their Facebooks, their LinkedIn, really their digital presence. So I kind of do a little cyber stalking in the front end. A website really can tell a lot about a person. You can tell how much thought, how many dollars have been put into it. You can also find out if they're doing any type of marketing. So if they're doing any events, if they're on radio or TV, etc. When I get them on the call, I'm able to identify who is the top based on their production. So in America, really, there's like the top 10% of advisors are all doing 10 million plus. The rest fall under 10 million. So anyone doing 10 million plus a year in business is considered one of the top advisors.
What is your experience like with getting in touch with these advisors? Like, do all of them agree? Do all of them accept your invitations? Do some of them refuse your invitation? Do some of you like shut the door? Some of them open the door? What happens?
So yes, to all of that. It's sales, which I'm selling an idea of what their practice can be. You have to be okay with rejection, and there are some advisors who think that they have it all figured out, and there are advisors who can own up to the fact that they are not marketing experts, nor do they want to be, and that's why they utilize companies like mine to get that expertise, take that off their plate, because that's work they should not be doing. They should be getting in front of clients. Uh, I would say my age and my gender, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So sometimes it works out really well because I'm the only female here on my team. So, gentlemen like to hear a lady's voice, and with women, it's a little bit more difficult. They like to hear a gentleman's voice, but my voice tends to give away my age. So they like to ask how old I am, and when they find out that I'm 25, for some advisors, it's a deal breaker, which I don't personally understand, but not everybody's a good fit to work with us anyway. So I'm not going to oversell or hard sell anybody. If you don't want to utilize our services, that's all right. I will find an advisor who does.
Oh yeah, okay, a very good point. How do you identify their needs?
So through a series of questions, there's an art to selling. I mean, I'm sure you've seen millions of books out there, but it's really through a series of questions and trying to identify what their need is through those questions. So luckily I work with a company that has been doing this for a very, very long time. Everyone who works here has been in the insurance space in some way, shape, or form. So we really know what advisors struggle with. And as of right now, it's leads. Everybody needs leads. Everybody needs to get in front of people. So typically that's what I'm working with. You have some who just need better marketing. They need some back office support, whatever the case may be. But it's really through a series of questions and just listening. I let them tell me, what's going on with their baby, their career, what they've built their life on. And if there's an opportunity for me to help, I let them know I've identified it and what the solutions I have available.
Could you give us some examples of these questions?
Absolutely. So one of my, I guess, trademark questions is, if you had to put the finger on the pulse of your practice, what would you say is keeping you from achieving your goal of, producing $10 million in business? And so from there, it really kind of gets them thinking, and they would say, well, if I really had to think about it, it would be X or Y. So from there, I'm able to identify what the need is.
Okay, give me an example where you have identified the need and then you provided the solution. What was the need and what was the solution?
Absolutely. So actually, I can use one from today. I was talking to an advisor, and his solution is leads. Because of COVID-19, his traditional marketing methods aren't working. He likes to do live seminars, and his state is shut down. He was working with a couple of other companies that were doing webinars. He paid a lot of money up front. He was told that he was going to have a guaranteed amount of people, and nobody ended up showing up. So he's like, I have, consistent business with referrals in my own book of business, but I need to get in front of fresh faces. I have a marketing budget. What are you guys doing? So my solution to him was presenting him with our lead program. So we have a national lead campaign going on right now. He can buy 50 leads at a certain price point, and I let him know the process. This is a very different lead program than what he's typically used to, so I walked him through that, and then got him connected with the people that are running the campaign for us via the television. And so he was able to ask his questions, and once all of his questions were answered, he was like, all right, let's get signed up. And so that is how I was able to provide him with a solution for his need.
Perfect. Could you give us an insight into this program you are speaking about?
Well, this is a program called Retirement Architecture. They're a company based out of New York. They approached us with this opportunity. We don't tend to utilize third-party vendors at all. We very much pride ourselves on doing everything in-house. But again, we're having to think outside the box right now. So we vetted the program. We vetted the guys who are working. They sent us everything, all the materials, and just based on all the other options, this was the best one. So they have a TV commercial airing right now, and the call to action is a free retirement blueprint. And so when somebody calls in asking for their blueprint, they have to fill out a 6-page questionnaire. So again, most lead programs, it's somebody like clicks on something and then you get their name and their email address. But they're filling out 6 pages worth of information. Once that's done, Retirement Architecture will assign it to an advisor that's in their area, which we are providing advisors in these areas. And so we do an introduction call, and then the advisor is set out to be the builder of that blueprint. So we help him convert that prospect into client, make sure he has all the products, everything he needs, and they go from there.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. How do you build a solution?
Many ways. So luckily, again, I work for a very amazing company that has a lot of our solutions built out. It's not a one size fits all. We are able to customize it for the advisor, but production really speaks a lot. Production lets us know what you can handle in your practice. Production also says a lot about your overhead. So if you're only doing, $2 to $3 million a year, you don't have a full office staff, right? You may have a front office lady and you may have an admin, but that's about it. Because you're just not producing that much in revenue. So we have solutions built out for all aspects. Our thing, and again, it's really based on the advisor and their market. There's a lot of digital strategies right now. Again, COVID's the best thing that's working. In a non-traditional setting, we really work to build out a brand. We work to get events on the calendar so that their brand is getting out into their community. We start email campaigns to their current clients. If they have a Facebook page, we start putting out promotions. Hey, we've rebranded. Hey, we're hosting an event. Hey, we're doing this, that, and the other. And then from there, if the advisor truly wants to continue to grow, we work to get the media ready. So we have an in-house team for radio and TV. And so once an advisor hits a certain point, they have the overhead that they need to handle that type of influx of business. Then we start getting them media ready. So we provide them with a co-host and a layout for a radio show. And we start building up that presence over the course of 3 to 6 months. But really from start to finish, we start at the branding, which is your story, who you are as a person, why someone should work with you, and get you all the way up to being the go-to financial celebrity, quote unquote, in your market.
Yeah, okay. We will do that one day. So the first question about your strategies is, how do you use marketing solutions?
So we use them first and foremost for lead generation. I think a lot of people confuse marketing with PR or public relations. Public relations is a lot of, well, I can only say with my limited experience in it, but it's a lot of promoting yourself, and marketing is to get you in front of people so that you can help them. And when people say, oh, I have a website, that's enough marketing for me, but your website's not generating any leads for you. Everything you do marketing wise should generate some type of lead, whether it is a referral lead, whether it's a campaign based or holistic, just organic traffic that ends up coming to your website or coming to your practice. But every facet of your marketing should be a lead generator. If it's not, it's simply public relations.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the next area, what is process or workflow?
So process and workflow are the steps that we as the marketing experts take for our advisors to implement a certain strategy. And process and workflow for the advisor is how they conduct their business on a day-to-day. So how are they conducting an aspect of their business is their appointment process. What does that look like? What does your process look like? Their workflow, that's more internal. So how you prioritize your day, like mine is determined by my CRM or my customer relationship management service or platform. And for an advisor, especially if they don't have a CRM, they could just be winging it from day to day. So nailing down the process and the workflows internally is first and foremost key. That way, if we're going to keep bringing you people, things don't fall through the cracks because your process is broken.
Okay. How do you provide solutions for internal communication?
Oh my goodness. So we actually have a business operations department here at my company, and we also just collect data from the thousands of advisors practices that we've worked with. And the advisors that are very successful have a very fine-tuned process. Now, again, we're not a one-size-fits-all, so we're not going to tell you to do exactly what that other advisor is doing, but there are aspects of what he's doing that you're not that can better your process. So let's take those, customize them down to what fits your practice, but make sure you have the outline or the foundation of that book in place so that your process can be complete. So for CRMs, right? If an advisor tells us they don't have a CRM, they keep all of their clients' names in Outlook, that's a problem. That means you are kind of winging it on a day-to-day basis. You don't have anything lined up ready for you to do when you get into the office. So what we do is we recommend a CRM system, kind of based on the advisor's technologically savvy abilities. And so we try to find a very easy, user-friendly platform, but let's upload all that data in there. That way you can take a client, have all of their information all in one place, and have a workflow ready for the next day so you know who you're calling that day, what emails you're sending out, and what business that you have to take care of.
Very interesting. What is ROI?
ROI is return on investment. And so in our business, that comes in two forms. Return on investment just in your business itself is, the profit and cost of an investment. Are you getting that return of what you've invested into, that particular client or that product or whatever that case may be? With marketing, it's used to measure the degree of marketing efforts, whether it's holistic, so organic growth, all that fun stuff, or a campaign based, and contribute to your revenue growth. So we have two different forms of ROI that we measure for our advisors.
What are they?
So it would be the ROI for their business. So that is, how many clients are you getting in front of? What's that average case size look like? How much you're submitting per year? And then the marketing ROI is, again, how much our marketing efforts contribute to your overall revenue growth.
And after you measure these two types, how do they affect or how do they help your advisor?
Well, so ROI in general just lets the advisor know where he stands within his business. Are you making enough? Are you making enough to make this worth it for you? Like, are all your overhead expenses taken care of? Are your personal bills taken care of? How much do you have left over at the end of the day? Your marketing ROI shows the advisor, one, why our services are helping their business, but two, why you need to continue utilizing that particular strategy, especially if it's working. We have a lot of advisors, well, not we've worked with a lot of advisors where they may try something once, and because they didn't get the results that they were looking for, they never try it again. Well, then you're never going to be able to measure how that can affect your bottom line in the long term. The only guarantee with marketing is that it doesn't work. It's not always going to work. That's the only guarantee that you have with marketing. So you have to keep beta testing and keep field testing whether or not it's worth continuing for your practice. So you can't just do it once and quit. You got to do it a couple times. And then if it doesn't work, that's where we look at that ROI. Okay, this campaign clearly did not work in your market. Let's go back and evaluate and find out what is actually working in your market, and let's try again.
Yeah. What is lead conversion?
So lead conversion is taking a prospect and converting them into a client. So in my day-to-day, I speak to advisors that we're not currently working with, and my job is to convert them into an impact advisor. So somebody that I bring on board to start utilizing our services and put their business through. So for advisors, it's a prospect who's coming in looking for a retirement plan, and how long in that process of converting that prospect into a client of that advisor.
What was the hardest case you have ever faced to develop a potential advisor into one of your customers?
What was the
most challenging case?
Oh boy, I wish I could tell you that I've had it. I feel like there's more challenges to come. My most challenging is when an advisor doesn't want to tell me about their business. And I can't help you if I don't know anything about you. It's kind of like being on a date, right? You can't really get to know somebody if they're not willing to share that information with you and allow you to connect with them on a personal level. And people get very, very personal about their business. It's a monetary investment. It's a time investment. It's an investment of, a part of themselves. And so nobody likes to hear that their baby is ugly. But sometimes you have to tell them, listen, it's a little ugly. It doesn't have to be ugly, and it won't stay ugly if you have the right resources, but it's a little ugly. So when an advisor doesn't want to open up or can't handle the fact that somebody is telling them different of what they have gone on to believe for however long they've been in the business, they can really get upset. And it either ends with some cuss words or it ends with them just hanging up on you.
Okay. What are the most important characteristics in your character that helps you build these relationships?
Most important is thick skin. If you're gonna be in any type of sales consulting position, you got to have thick skin because people are very, very mean. Very, very mean. I would also say persistency. I think compliment I get from advisors that I end up bringing on board is they were like, thank you for being so persistent and continuing to call me and continuing to email me and not giving up on me. And third and most importantly, I would say, is the ability to really listen and empathize with the person that you're trying to get to know. Because like I said, this business is personal for them because they have invested all of themselves into becoming a business owner. And so you have to be able to really listen to what they're telling you about their business, the issues that they're having, and empathize with them and give them the solution that they're looking for. And also be brave enough to tell them when they're wrong. A lot of advisors I am finding, they don't like to be told that they're wrong. And it's not a ding on their character. It's just, you're not doing it right. Let me help you. But yeah, I would say thick skin, persistency, to listen and really empathize with whom you are speaking with.
Let's make the question a bit harder. If we are going to build you, if we are going to build the perfect persona for your position, what are the best characteristics to put in that persona?
Well, first and foremost, thick skin. I don't care if you're a male or a female or whatever gender you identify with. You gotta have thick skin always. You have to say positive even when you're not feeling like it. I mean, today, this is clearly my very casual day. I usually look a lot better than this. But being able to be insanely positive, even though you're tired, even though somebody just hung up on you, somebody told you to go F yourself, whatever the case may be, you've got to just be like, okay, not take it personally, just pick the phone back up and keep dialing. Also, just, again, the ability to listen and empathize. I can't stress how important that is. If you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes and understand where they're coming from, you're never, ever going to make it in this business. And I would say just a fun personality. That this job can get mundane. You're on the phones all day and you're talking about the same thing. So just being able to bring life and enjoyment into it is, I would say, a pivotal characteristic to have if you're going to be doing telesales or telecommunications.
What are the deal breakers or the most, let's say, lethal weaknesses or disadvantages that we would ask this character to avoid?
Taking things personally. That is probably your biggest pitfall, is if you take what an advisor says to you, or even, I mean, it's a very male dominated environment. So you can't really take things personally. You can't. One, it has nothing to do with you. The advisor just doesn't, you got to think about how many phone calls they get like this a day. They are inundated with emails and phone calls from people in similar companies like mine, trying to offer them the same thing, saying that they have the same thing. They've been overpromised and underdelivered so much. So you just sound like the next Joe Schmo that's calling. So taking things personally will end your career in sales, telecommunications, like that. You have to be able to shake it off and just go on to the next. And then again, having a negative mindset. So if you have a bad call, or you find out that you're not hitting your numbers, or whatever the case may be, and you take that negativity into, we call it the bullpen, but you take it back to your peers and your coworkers, and you're just constantly negative. Oh, I wish they wouldn't do this, or I wish he wouldn't have called me out on that. You then infect everybody else. And so everybody else is going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, just like you, for the rest of their day. And it's going to mess up whatever they're setting out to accomplish. So definitely got to have thick skin. If you don't, you're out. And if you're not positive, you can't be in sales either, because nobody wants to talk to a brick wall or somebody who's just wants to find the negative in everything all the time.
Let me ask you a personal question. Have you ever gone home and cried in bed?
Yes, I didn't even, I haven't even made it home. Sometimes I either go to the bathroom or I'll go to my car. Oh yeah, I would say not so much anymore. When I first started, even in the automotive industry, when, you know, some Jane Doe who said I lied about her filling out information about wanting to buy a car and called me all terrible sorts of names. And so that was the first time I ever cried on the job. And in this particular position, yeah, I had a really, really bad phone call. I almost got this guy, and I don't remember if I can't really even remember now what happened, but I said something, or my tone or something upset him, offended him, and he just went off, called me every name you could possibly think of in the book, and hung up on me. And I just ran to the bathroom and I cried. And then I came back and just got back on the phone. But yes, you definitely cry a lot in sales, for sure. Even guys do. I don't care what any of my sales guys would say. I will put money that they have cried at one point in their life due to a phone call in this industry.
Okay, do you think with the current development in yourself, in your experience, and in your position, like you have already avenged your past suffering?
Not yet. Because again, I actually saw something on LinkedIn. The pendulum always shifts, right? And there's never going to be a point where the pendulum stops and it's like, you know everything. Because the minute you think you know everything, you know nothing. I think that was the best piece of advice I ever got when I started a career path. So I would say not yet, but I would say I am getting pretty close. COVID thickened up my skin more than I was expecting it to. And yeah, so not yet, but one day.
Okay, let's evaluate your current position and your, your personality in business. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, what do you need currently to build the perfect image for yourself, to build the perfect company or business for yourself?
What do I ooh, that's a tough one. I would say what in the ideal, I guess, perfect world, what I would need to build a consulting business like I hope to one day, capital for sure. I've a solid brand that I start developing now, which I'm currently in the works of doing. And last but not least, I would say a solid team, having people around me that I trust, because I know I can't be a one-man captain of my ship. I'm going to need help. I'm going to need some staff. I'm going to need people that I can trust. And I would say that will end up being my biggest component. I don't let people in very easily, and I'm certainly not just going to let anybody in when it comes to my business. So I've got to really, really be able to trust someone, or just have a gut feeling that you are the right person that I should be aligning myself with.
Perfect. Okay, let's get back to business. What other what other solutions do you provide?
So outside of marketing, we provide business coaching, we provide mentoring, we provide, actually we do provide some PR, and business operations. So hiring, training, workflows, processes, phone training for lead conversion. So when, people are following up on leads that responded to a campaign, you've got to have the ability to convert that into an appointment for the advisor. So we provide training for our advisors staff who handle all of the appointment setting. And business coaching in itself, how to be a good business owner and understand what that means for your business, how that will translate into better ROI, and things of that nature. So just getting them networking with like-minded individuals, providing that back office support, PR opportunities. We have something called On Tour. So the head of our media team knows a lot of celebrities, a lot of financial celebrities, just a lot of big names. So the advisors that produce X amount through all of our marketing, we do something called an On Tour, which will take them to a celebrity's house. They get to interview said celebrity, put it on their radio show, have it recorded, the video recorded so they can put it on their website. A bunch of fun little tchotchke things. They get signed guitars, t-shirts, pictures, just lots of fun things they can take back to their practice. But yeah, full service. So marketing, PR, back office support, operations, and just good business coaching.
Perfect. All they need is just to say yes.
All they need is to say yes. Yeah, no monthly fees, no upfront fees to work with us, which is nice. It's you put your first piece of business in. So if you're not working on anything, we have tools to help you go through your current book of business to find opportunities. It's been very useful, especially with COVID. So even if it's just, something small, get something in the door, show that you are putting your good foot forward. And once that happens, we build out a 90-day action plan. We start looking over your budget. We start looking at events in your market and all these fun things. But it just takes that leap of faith. And luckily, we have found advisors that will take that leap with us. And currently still looking for more.
So let's get to the young sage in you, Mallory. What is your message to the other people? What would you like to say to the other people of your age?
Don't give up. I have this year in particular has been very, very difficult. I'm getting married. I'm transitioning life from.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Transitioning life from being a girlfriend to being a wife and all of the spiritual and fun aspects that come with that. And also trying to find my career path. I would just say don't give up, and also don't pigeonhole yourself. I know, especially me, I used to look down on people that job hopped, right? And I used to hire and train people as well. So when I would get resumes, I'd be like, oh, this person's been from job to job to job. And I just read an article the other day that your 20s are that time. It's that time for you to go out and explore what you truly have a passion for. And I think a lot of times we just get so caught up in, God, I need a job, I have to pay for this, I have to pay for this, that we end up pigeonholing ourselves, and we don't try to find the passion and the fire that burns within us and be able to have that in a career as well. So don't give up, because adulting is hard and it only gets harder. I wish somebody would have told me this much, much sooner. And find your passion, however long it takes you. You're not going to find it overnight. It's going to take years. I'm still developing mine. I just know that I have a passion for helping people achieve their goals, and I'm learning that it looks different in different industries. But I know that that's my passion, and that's something I want to grow on. So if you can just get the foundation, don't worry about what industry you land in. Just find out what really drives you and go after any opportunity that presents itself in that situation.
What else would you like to say?
Start thinking about your finances now. I have been blessed to be in this industry and to be around a lot of very just educated people who understand the importance of money. In my family, money was always a source of strife. It was always the reason my parents were fighting. And not that we grew up poor or anything. I was very, very fortunate, but it was just constantly a constant strife area. And I decided I didn't want to bring that into my life, into my marriage when I did get married. At the time I wasn't engaged or anything, but I just decided that I did not want to take that same path. I don't want to have the same fights that my parents had. So when I came into this industry, I started following my advisors that talk to people like myself about finances and start understanding what retirement means and how soon you can start planning for it. I just put a life insurance policy out on myself. When my fiance and I get married, we'll do one for the both of us. But this life insurance policy, I'm paying $17 a month, which is a Hulu subscription. It's your gym membership. And I know a lot of you don't go, so you might as well just cancel it now. But put that money towards funding a policy that can be life insurance isn't just if you die and having money to pay for things. You can use life insurance as a loan opportunity. So instead of going to a bank, you just pull out of the insurance that you have on yourself. it can be converted into different types of policies that cover you, your husband, your kids when you get to that point. Then that particular policy can be converted into college funding for your kids that you can start when they're young. Just start understanding what it means, what you want your financial future to look like now. Because like my dad said, you're going to wake up, you're going to be 55 years old, you're going to have no retirement, you'll have 4 kids that you can't help with college, you can't help with their weddings, you can't help, even if they needed you, you couldn't be there. And he told me that it was his biggest regret, that he didn't start thinking about that sooner, so that way when he got to this point and we were in this part of our lives, that he could help us. So just really start paying attention to that. Retirement is not some pipe dream, and it's not just for when you don't have to think about it when you're 60. You can start thinking about it now. And if you plan right, you don't have to retire at 65 like the majority of the population. You could possibly retire even earlier if you start putting those steps in place now. So that is the best advice I could give to people my age, is to really, really start educating yourself now and stay away from big names, you know, these big corporations, Fisher Investments, Raymond James, Edward Jones. They're all captive and they can't give you the best options that are out there. Find an independent financial advisor in your area and just start asking questions. Go to events. There are webinars out the wazoo that are free, and just let them know you're young. You don't need to be talking to them quite yet, but when you are ready and you get that education, make an appointment, get a life insurance policy. Again, $17 a month, but in the next 5 years, my cash gain will be, oh gosh, I don't even remember what the number was, but I will have enough, God forbid something does happen that I need to pull from, I'll have that already, that little nest egg already saved up. And then later I can convert it and do whatever the heck I want to do with it.
Yeah. It has been so insightful and so inspirational to speak to you, Mallory, today. Thank you so much
Nour.
indeed.
I appreciate you reaching out to me. I'm here anytime, and I'm excited to see when this posts. I also, again, I apologize that I'm not looking my best today.
You're so nice.
Well, thank you.